Hi, my name's Claire Drage and I'm the Test Centre Operations Manager for BTL. So I'm in charge of looking after the global test centre operation for the customers that run their exams in our own test centres. What I'm going to do is just give you a very brief overview of the network, and then I'm going to hand over to Tom, who owns the Pitman Training Scotland, who's going to talk about delivery within a centre for us on Surpass and also for other customers on Surpass. So we're a global network. We have centres available in 32 countries currently, with many more potential through our various suppliers. We have actually delivered in 24 of those countries so far. Now, we're set up to meet the needs of our first customer, RCPCH, who was the candidate that you heard from previously. They came to us and asked for not just a software solution, but to deliver in the network. They wanted a fully managed service end-to-end. So our network was set up essentially around their requirements. We're very much a personal and flexible managed service, so we go through all your requirements with you and we tailor what we deliver to your requirements as opposed to just an out-of-the-box solution. We specialise in high-stakes session-based exams. Currently for RCPCH, those exams are timed across the world so that they all run at the same time. So every test centre is running either at exactly the same time or overlapped, so that prevents the candidate cheating and the communication to other areas. Now, what have we done so far? We started in 2015 with our first live delivered exams in the January. We've delivered 17,000 tests across the 24 countries since then. It's grown significantly over the past 2 years and more so this year. We currently have 102 audited test centres, and that means we've either physically visited those test centres to make sure that they're ready to run exams for our customers, or we've had our third-party supplier out in our overseas centres. They audit for us using the same templates. We've now got 5 confirmed suppliers that we use. We've got 3 more that we're in talks with and contracting with currently, in the final stages with those. And that will allow us to have a much wider coverage within the UK and overseas. We have 22,000 seat bookings already for 2017, and that's expected to grow to in excess of 40,000 in 2018 and even further beyond that. We're involved in several bids, so we're always hopeful that number's going to grow significantly in the near future. And I'd like to hand over to Tom, who's going to talk about his experiences.
As I said, my name is Tom Maclean, and we own and operate the Pitman Training Centres in Edinburgh and Glasgow, and also look after the other training centres in Scotland. Overall, the Pitman Training Network offer testing at 65 locations, and as an example of what we do, we have in our Edinburgh centre we deliver over 4,000 exams per annum for external clients, and overall in the central Scotland belt it accounts now for 15% of our turnover. Our clients range from large testing companies who require a location to deliver their tests, right through to awarding bodies who have their own qualifications delivered through either their own e-testing platform or an adaptation of another existing e-testing platform. I was asked to talk about our experience delivering tests through Surpass. So I talked to our team, and it appeared like the technical team only knew half the story. The delivery and invigilating teams only knew half the story, so it fell to me. I also talked to test centre managers at other locations within the Pitman network just to make sure that our experience wasn't unique. One comment that came through was that it was a disciplined product, which I thought was an interesting way of describing it there. We have experience of 3 different clients who use Surpass wholly or in part. One of those uses Surpass on their own platform, while the other 2 use it as a standalone delivery platform. So as a test centre, we look for 3 features existing in a test center platform. We have currently about 12 major clients that we work for, and we're looking for some things: an ease of installation, stability, and low maintenance in it. So with the installation, our technical team had absolutely no comments about Surpass. The installation of the secure browser was easy, trouble-free, and I have to commend them on that, because they worked together to make sure that we had the best chance by making sure that the technical specification we had would match what they had with Surpass. So it was a good relationship right from the start. And Surpass has proved to be very stable. We have experienced a negligible number of issues during delivery from a technical standpoint. It works as it should, and so much so that our office manager this morning, when I was checking some facts about Surpass, said, "I wish they would all go to Surpass and make our life very easy." I didn't pay her for the comment either, but what keeps the technical team happy is that we have something that's low maintenance, and what you're looking for is a product that doesn't have to be upgraded or reinstalled to the latest version every time you turn the machine on. It's not changing to the very latest versions of software before the product has been tested and ends up with backward capability issues. They also like a structure that is required for the installation of upgrades, and also when it comes to new versions of third-party software, such as Windows, Flash, or Java. Most of the upgrades take place automatically, and I believe the only time we really become involved is when it is something that is more critical and short notice to the success of a delivery. In all cases that we deal with, Surpass is well regarded, and causes our staff few issues in the day-to-day running of the system. But in the initial stages, we set the platform up to try and ensure we were able to support the system, and so that it was the correct specification. This information was readily available and got from BTL at the time. The other major issue that we had with any product like Surpass is the ongoing support through technical help. So while preparing this presentation, I asked our staff how they found the BTL help desk. And I'm used to seeing them on the telephone for a long time, listening to dear knows what music at the other end. But when I asked the question, and it was both to Moira, who I mentioned earlier, and John, our technical chap, they met with a long silence, and eventually they said, "I don't think I've ever had to call them." Upgrades seem to happen seamlessly, and we have the facility to check that everything's working before we actually embark on a session, which is really, really useful for us. When you come to the other side of what we do is delivering, it's the candidate's exam experience. They tend to have 3 types of issue that occur again and again and again, and in their eyes it's all our fault. Doesn't matter that they've been presented with information which they've read and they've received from the client. They can't understand why we won't accept their version of how things are meant to be. So candidate issues, personal issues, ID, late arrival, the arrival time, registration processes, you name it. Exam content, that was not in the course I did, or that question's wrong. And the last one is more serious, system crashes and downtime. We have to be careful because the first 2 issues are really nothing to do with Surpass. As long as they've been given good instruction, that should automatically follow. Unfortunately, the first 2 are very easy to talk about because when you come to security issues and the excuses that people give for all sorts, it does make for far more entertaining than talking about something that works and doesn't cause us too much problem. So Surpass appears to be a very flexible system. Candidate login seems straightforward, and the interface is clear and intuitive. We have to work with several interfaces, but the backbone is the same, and it does work very well. There has been little downtime for the candidates during our testing experience, and when this has occurred, it is usually through the wider issues of a break in the internet provision, either at our end or at the far end of the line. Using Surpass itself, there are two areas where candidates do tend to have issues. One is with high-resolution displays, with the exam, and when the exam requires access to software that is being hosted on the system and requires interaction between the candidate and the platform. The high-resolution displays are often a complete mystery to us. They occur randomly, never on the same machine, and hopefully with the advent of faster broadband, these issues become rarer. But we'll have all seen it when you've been on the internet using some piece of software where things don't actually come and resolve as they should. The hosting of software on the system, though, can be an issue. Problems are generally due to the candidate not having enough knowledge of how to use the software successfully. And believe it or not, just this morning, we had a complaint, and it was about an exam, and it was on the Surpass platform. But it transpires that the candidate had misinterpreted the instructions and she had not saved the work, but had printed it, and which resulted in her not uploading the required tasks at the end of the exams. So both these features are excellent, and I can see many more getting built into Surpass as well. But what they do is they highlight the differences in expectation between old-style examination and the sophistication that can be built into e-testing. Candidates are not always prepared for this, and the test centre is not always aware of the content of the exam or the candidate instructions contained within the exam. But if it's wrong, it's always our fault. In summary, we offer testing to many different clients who use many different platforms. But from our experience, Surpass, if you take the trouble to install it properly, it offers a robust, stable, low-maintenance platform for test centres and candidates alike. Discipline was mentioned earlier, so I would suggest that if there is a discipline built into the design and updating of the platform, a discipline in the design and of the questions and the tasks, and there's a discipline on our side in the installation and management, all will be well. The only thing that would be left would be to find disciplined candidates. So, it works for us. It is popular amongst our staff. I can't say any more about it. Thank you very much for listening.